G'day, Stitch the Backyard Blacksmith here. So today we're going to be making a keyring rack. So it's going to be in the shape of a horseshoe. Now I'm not actually going to be forging a real horseshoe, I'm just going to be forging a piece of metal into the horseshoe shape, lucky side up, so that we can turn it into a keyring rack. So you're going to make the horseshoe rack out of a 300mm long piece of 20 by 5, and that is 300mm long. For the hooks, we're going to use 4 horseshoe nails. These are ESL 6s, so they're 57.5mm long. They make a great little hook, and we're going to attach them with these little 3mm copper rivets. See that? There you can. Yeah, little 3mm copper rivets. So we'll turn the forge on, and we'll put the metal in the oven. If you want, you can mark metal. I'll do that now. I don't usually, but we'll do that. So 150, and make a punch mark. Now if you put the punch mark right on the edge, it will disappear during your forging and your cleaning up of the edge, because you don't want a sharp edge, so you want it either hammer it rounded or file it rounded afterwards. I do have a couple here that I've already started on, so let's get underway. I'm also going to put our horseshoe nails in so we can flatten the ends out while that's heating up, because these will take no time at all to heat up. And there we go. As some of you might have noticed, I'm wearing thongs. You're lucky I've got a shirt on, cover my manly body. With the Queensland heat, most time I'm not wearing much down here, doing my forging, but always wear something to protect your eyes, because as a boiler maker and working with metal most of my life, they are important, and if you get something hot, like a bit of scale from here, not only does it hurt, it could lead you to be blind. So let's have a look, see how our nails are going. As I said, they don't take long. Little set of tongs I forged just for the nail hooks. So all we want to do with these is we just want to flatten out the end. Because that's where a rivet will go through. Set them down to cool, because we'll clean them on the wire wheel, and then we'll just bend them by hand. So what you end up with is sort of that. So in that there we'll put the hole for the rivet. So I'm just going to set them up here where the wire wheel is to cool down, and once they're cooled down, I'll give them a bit of a brush up on the wire wheel just to remove scale and stuff. I'll drill a hole in them and then I'll bend them into shape. Or I'll bend them into shape and drill a hole first. No worries. So yeah, these are the little tongs I made. They are perfect just for holding the horseshoe nails. You could use pliers, you could use bigger tongs if you want, but I just made these. They're light, easy and quick. Okay, so I think that's what we want at the moment. So I'm actually going to use the back of my rounding hammer, so that as you're bending it around, you're not leaving dents from the edges of a hammer, like a ball peen or the other end. So pair of tongs I made that are holding 25mm. Right, we get our steel out. There we go, holds nice and tight. Nice and flat. Using the horn of your hammer, it's a good way to get the bend. Make sure it's nice and flat. That's a sec. Heat it up again. It's good to have something to check it against. See, we're getting there. Wonderful. So now what I'll do is I'll start on the other side and we'll bring the other side round. And what we'll do now is I'm just going to clean up the hooks. I'm not going to show you me doing that because it's just me standing at the wire wheel playing with a set of nails. So now we'll look at the other side. Look at that. You're not doing it right if you don't drop it at least once. Now we just keep heating it, bending it around until we've got it to shape. Sorry about that, I started doing the hooks and I didn't realise that I hadn't put the video back on to show you what I was doing. So we've got our nails. Just going to use my ball peen and make sure that that's flat and straight. our little pair of pointy nose pliers. So I'm actually just going to bend the tip over on that so that it's not sharp. Then, using these, I'm just going to start turning it around until I'm quite happy with my hook shape. So that's what we ended up with. There's our 4 hooks. I'll drill them a bit later on. You don't need to see me doing that. It's just me standing in front of a drill press. And these are just circlip pliers from Super Cheap Autos, and an old pair of pointy nose pliers that the grips are worn out on. So that's how our hooks ended up, with a little hole in the end that'll take that 3mm rivet for when we're ready to put them on. Okay, more work with this. Make sure it's all flat. Looks like we're getting pretty close. Let's have a look with our horseshoe. You know,